It's an early good afternoon here from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore.
It's game day, man. Game day.
As we are set for the Broncos' first road game of this 2018 regular season.
Right together on three. 1, 2, 3.
As they travel east to play the Baltimore Ravens.
It was a rainy day, more ways than one for the Broncos as they lost their first game of the season, 27-14. Hello, and thank you for joining us for our film review. I'm Phil Milani alongside Matt Boyer, Steve Atwater, and Ray Crockett. Guys, let's get your overall thoughts on the game. Ray, start with you.
I mean, overall, of course, it was not a good game. It started off with the weather, like you said, against a team on the road in the rain. There's several things you have to do, and we did everything wrong to try to win a game on the road as far as penalties, as far as play calling, as far as play. It was just not a good outing for us.
Hey, the only positive thing is I thought our special teams did well. We had a field goal block.
You're right. That is positive.
Yeah, we had a punt block. I would say offensively and defensively, we got a lot of work to do, especially with this strong Kansas City Chiefs team coming in on Monday night.
Great teams rise to the occasion in pivotal moments, and I thought, like we mentioned, the blocked field goal, back on a penalty. Now, the penalty a little suspect, I understand, but it just felt like after that and the Lindsey ejection, both of those were huge pivotal moments, and I don't think the Broncos recovered after those two.
Yeah, we'll get into those a little bit more, but the game started out well, and like you said, with a big special teams play.
And the punt is blocked! Cook's punt blocked! Loose at the 3, scooped up by the Ravens, but it looked like Joseph Jones blocked it, and Denver will have the ball in great field position.
Film study, saw the guy left early, so I set him up like I was going to block him, and then I just ripped inside, and it is what it is.
He turns hands off, and a good move by Royce Freeman. Freeman walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. I don't think a Raven got a hand on him. And the Broncos, with 13:29 left in the first quarter, off to a quick start. 6-0 Denver.
Flacco hands off Collins at the 5. Collins takes it in. That's a big answer for the Ravens. A 6-yard touchdown.
They flip it on the end around. Here comes Sanders. A lot of room to run. Here we go. 35-30. Emmanuel 25-20. 15. 10. Sanders 5. Touchdown Denver. We saw a similar play in the preseason against the Redskins. But a run of 35 yards for Emmanuel Sanders, and the Broncos bounce back in front. Flacco takes a shotgun snap, wide open, and the flat is Allen. Allen being chased by Von Miller, but he hits the pylon, and they're going to say...
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field has changed.
It's a touchdown.
An attempt of 43 yards for Justin Tucker. And it's blocked. Ball bounces around. Chris Harris Jr. scoops it up, and he's loose. Here we go. Harris Jr. inside the 40. Gets a block. 35-30. 20. 15, gets a block from Shaq Barrett. Touchdown, Denver. Justin Simmons, a huge block as well, and I see a penalty flag back at the Ravens 40.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 77 of the return team.
I couldn't believe it, man. I think it changed the game. I think the whole game just changed after that play. I thought my touchdown would have definitely changed the game, would have been up. We would have had great momentum going into half and having the ball back. But it didn't work out like that.
No, it did not work out like that. The Broncos instead down 6 points at halftime. Ray, how big would that touchdown have been?
Oh, when you look at something like that, you're talking about a momentum changer. And that's the thing, is that when you're on the road, there are certain plays that you need to really change the momentum of the whole game, not only just for the team, but for the fans as well. And that was that type of play. The penalty was a little suspect, but in that sense, you kind of know when you're behind a guy, stay out of harm's way, and you kind of put the ref in a bad position, even though it should not have been called. But it was definitely momentum changing. That's something that could have changed the whole game around. Who knows? We're up 21-17 at that point. It's a different ball game.
Yeah, it feels that bad for Domata Peko because, he just put a little bit of force on him and the guy flopped, and, he could have won an award for that flop. But, nonetheless, it probably makes the ref's job a little difficult. So just better to just stay away from him. He's so far behind anyway, just don't even try to do anything at that point.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we saw Philip Lindsay get ejected from the game after that on a big hit on Case Keenum. Didn't even see it coming, and then Lindsay dives into the pile, gets tossed from the game.
And it was one of those things where Vance Joseph, I think, disagreed with the punching part. I'm going back and watching the tape. I'm not sure that it was a punch, maybe going for the ball, which is what Philip said after the game. However, you can't go into the pile. That's undisciplined football. You can't make that mistake in a pivotal moment, and it changed momentum. Like Ray said, you got to play your best. on those momentum-changing plays on the road, and it didn't happen in that one.
They missed Philip Lindsay in that second half.
It affected play calling for Musgrave.
Oh, yeah. We had to change it all the way up.
Yes, I think Philip Lindsay was going to have a big day because that's a fast-flowing defense with linebackers that like to rush and don't like to cover. So I think the same stuff you saw Booker do in the second half in the open field, that would have been Philip Lindsay. That's a different guy, catching balls and making people miss.
Yeah, I think that Lindsay would have played a huge role in that. And then you think about when it happened in the game. On that drive, Lindsay was rattling off 8-yard run, 6-yard run. They were splitting him out wide. The defense was on its heels a little bit, and that play just changed the whole structure of the game, that first half especially.
They were looking for a second half comeback, but it was not meant to be.
Straight ahead dive route, and Allen to the goal line, and he's got a Baltimore touchdown. Denver did a good job with the initial surge, but Allen kept his legs rolling. But the Ravens now increased the lead over the Broncos with 7:26 left in the third to 26-14.
They're pretty good. They scored 2 touchdowns on a half a field. They got to the 48-yard line, so we gave them a couple short fields and they punched it in on us. But they've been great in the red zone. They were 9 for 9 coming into this game, so it's what we expected.
Safety blitz in the way. Keenum loads it up, throws the ball left side. Cortland Sutton has it. Sutton's inside the 10 and spun the turf at the 9 by Brandon Carr. The big rookie wide receiver on the back shoulder fade route.
Keenum, and it's picked off. It's Owasu on the return. Owasu down the sideline.
They fell off in zone. I was trying to check it down, and the kid made a good play. I think I was going to the right place with the ball, but I need, again, better fundamentals, better ball, give Jeff a chance, especially in the red zone.
Is Jake Butt the guy here? That might be the matchup. They look left, they throw left, the back shoulder fade, and it's too short at the 3-yard line. Butt got tangled up with Tony Jefferson. He wanted pass interference call. Case didn't get a lot on that one.
The Broncos end up losing 27-14. Case Keenum, another interception. This time it was costly in the red zone.
Case is a rhythm thrower. He's a guy that needs to throw on schedule. He's a clock guy. 1-2 ball is out, 1-3 ball is out, whatever it goes. And so far, he's throwing off schedule, making bad throws. And if you throw late, his arm is not strong enough to fit the ball in like you see some of these guys, Mahomes and some of these guys do. He has to be on schedule, Steve, to throw that ball.
Yeah, one of the things Case did in training camp is he did a really good job of standing in the pocket, moving up into the pocket. On that particular play, he drifted some and actually threw off the back foot and jumped. Those are 3 things that you probably shouldn't do in the same play.
A lot of those penalties, too, that we saw were a result of those longer plays, those wide receivers not being able to get open. McGovern with the holding call, Bowles with the holding call. Over 100 yards of penalties, you can't do that. And when you hold the ball like that, that just gives your offensive lineman more time to have to guard against guys like Terrell Suggs.
And the biggest thing, Phil, was that what have we been saying all training camp? What did Von Miller and all those guys say? It's hard to rush Case because he gets the ball out so fast. And lately he's been holding the ball, and that's disaster. That is a method of disaster for him.
Is cornerback depth an issue now? Because we see, you knew Yadam was going to get picked on, but then when Tremaine Brock went down, that secondary sort of not what we are used to seeing around here.
Well, when you look at this secondary right now, we're struggling, and part of it is because Roby has to play like a number 1 guy. When you let go of Aqib Talib, you're basically telling Roby, we think you're ready to play. We think you're ready to take over this number 1 job. You can't have 80-85% completion rate on you. That hurts the whole defense because it tells us now you can't really help Yadam. You can't help the young guys. You got to help the veteran guys as well. So I think as a defense as a whole, right now, we're not disguising enough. We're very vanilla. We're very basic.
Yeah, Chris mentioned that.
Yeah, we have to do something to get these quarterbacks to where they're thinking a little more. You're talking about some of those plays that he was making. A lot of it was because he knew where he had to go right away. So when you know that, we have to do some transitional defense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Disguising is an extremely important part of defense. It confuses quarterbacks sometimes, and when they get up to the line of scrimmage, they don't know exactly where to go. They're trying to figure out things in their minds, and of course, that clock is ticking. When you don't disguise, it just makes it so much easier for them. They come out, they're playing cover 1. I'm going to go to the fade, or I'm going to run a slant route, and it's going to be wide open.
Ray mentioned it. Give credit to Isaac Yadam. I thought that Yadam did get picked on a little bit there in that second quarter, but after that deep ball to John Brown, he goes up against Michael Crabtree, does a good job pushing up on the line of scrimmage, incomplete pass to Crabtree. I think that just getting more reps and getting into the flow of things, I think is going to go a long way for him. He's got the tools. He's just got to get those game reps and put it all together.
And normally when quarterbacks think against the Broncos, Von Miller, boom, right there. Bradley Chubb right there. That's vital to this defense.
And you got to think the way you know that quarterbacks are not thinking. Every time Von Miller has coverage duty, they find him. They know that it happened on the touchdown play. That was Von Miller's guy. He's looking in the backfield. His guy runs a simple out route, catches the ball, and he almost scores. They reviewed it. Of course, it wasn't a touchdown yet, but they find the guys that they need to find. When Bradley Chubb is in coverage, they find them right away. That lets you know we're too basic. We're too vanilla.
Von probably shouldn't never be guarding anything.
I would hope not. Look, in the future, I would hope not. He's better going to get the quarterback.
Yes, he is. And this week, they're going to have a heck of a challenge with Patrick Mahomes. You mentioned him coming in. This Chiefs team is hot right now.
Man, red hot. No pun intended. But yeah, this is a game where, man, we're going to first and foremost have to be able to play deep to short. This guy, Gunn, I mean, I've seen this guy since he was a kid. He's had a rifle since he was 8, like for real. so it's a defense, man. We got to get ready. We have to disguise him. He's young. Now, that's the one thing about it. He is young. You can disguise him, but if you try to disguise this guy, there's a risk out there, and we got to be ready to prepare for that.
Yeah, and I think that, both Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, and also, of course, Shaq Barrett and Shane Ray should be able to get some pressure on him. He made a great play where he scrambled out and he threw a dart to the back of the end zone, but that play took about 5 or 6 seconds. And if we can get our edge rushers on them to get some pressure on them, I think we can get to them.
And this is always a game, the last 3 or 4 times, special teams plays a huge role. Think about how many times Tyreek Hill has had a big moment in a game against the Broncos these last couple of years, especially on special teams. So containing Tyreek is going to be crucial for the Broncos here this week. Number 10, you got to find him whenever he's on the field.
The biggest thing this week is our offense. We have to play ground ball control. We got to keep that offense off the field. I don't care who you are right now. This offense is blistering. They're going to score some points. The best thing for us is to see them on the other side, sitting down. Please, sitting down, run the ball. We need 180, 170-yard rushing this week.
You don't want to get into a shootout with this Chiefs team this year. And, of course, the Chiefs have had the Broncos number of late. So what a better time than on Monday Night Football with the nation watching to see if the Broncos can turn this thing around. That's going to do it for this week's film review. For Ray Crockett, Steve Atwater, Matt Boyer, I am Phil Milani. Thanks for tuning in.